Hello, hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Creating Wealth. My name is Marjorie Roman, and we have, as always, the pleasure of learning from the one and only our maestro, Robert G. Allen.
Hello, everybody. So good to be back with you again.
And as we promised on our last episode, we are going to be talking about the deal of a lifetime.
Deal of a lifetime is about a week away for most people if they just keep looking.
That's true.
Once in a lifetime deals. You really think about that. A property that can make you hundreds of thousands of dollars is just one deal away. So the example we want to talk about is I'm going to interview you, Marjorie.
Oh, no.
You've been interviewing me, but I'm going to interview you. So you had read some of my books originally, and you were working with a realtor. You started to step outside your comfort zone. You found a realtor who was a real estate investor. That was the first smart decision. Most people don't work with an investor realtor. They work with a residential real estate who buys and sells single family homes, selling to people who are buying from their own home. We want to find a realtor who is an investor realtor.
That's right, because they have a different mindset. So the funny thing is that I actually started interviewing different realtors myself. I was interested in buying my first home at the time, and I was thinking, okay, so I don't know a lot about real estate. So if I don't have that knowledge, I need to find someone that has that knowledge so I can use their help and expertise to get the deals that I want. So I ended up talking to multiple realtors, and all of these realtors, they were like, yeah, no, I can sell you this house for this price and this other price. I was like, yeah, but like, how can we negotiate the price? No, this is the price, and this is how they're selling it. And just by saying those words, I was like, oh no, these realtors are not going to have the flexibility that I'm looking for. They're not going to be looking for my
They're retail
well-being.
real estate agents. I don't want a retail agent. I want a wholesale agent.
Exactly, because they were mostly looking for their commission, and that was it.
Exactly.
Not my well-being as an investor. Until I found this one realtor recommended by a friend of mine who purchased his first home also. And he said, hey, he's really open-minded. He listened to all my many ideas, and he said, yes, let's work with this, let's work with that. And also, we can negotiate on these aspects as well. So I ended up interviewing that realtor, and he mentioned like truly all of the ideas that he had as well. And I started working with him on acquiring my first property. And it was really cool because all the learning process for me to know what a mortgage is and also what the escrow and all of those many multiple real estate terms, I learned them from him, who happened to read actually one of your books.
Oh, do you know which one it was?
He read The Challenge.
The Challenge. And we give that book away on some of my social media. So yeah, I'm glad he would.
So go find out.
Yeah, there you go.
Go find Robert Allen on social media, and you're going to be able to get his book. Truly changed his life. He actually read your book, and he said, Robert, he allowed me to learn so many new ways of seeing real estate that most people don't know. So as a way of paying back for what he did to me, through his book, I like to teach my clients, the people that are buying these properties using my services, about all of the real estate ideas that are out there. So I started working with this realtor, and he showed me quite a bit of properties.
How many properties do you think you looked at before you actually wrote that offer?
I ended up looking around 58 properties, I think.
58?
Yes, 58 properties. And
good for you. That's fantastic.
And
because you realize you just got to keep looking until you find the great deal.
Exactly. And the funny thing is that throughout all of these process, I got quite a bit of opportunities where I got to put an offer on the property, but these people would say no. But I still remember what my mom always told me. She said, well, even if you find that one no, there are 1,000 other yeses out there, and you need to go look for them. So
that's a great quote. Even if you get one no, there are 1,000 other yeses out there.
Exactly. So I kept going for more deals. I kept talking to my realtor and said, okay,
so how many offers did you actually write and get rejected? Do you remember?
More than 30.
More than 30 offers.
Yes.
And were you not discouraged at this time?
I was a little bit. On my very first one, I was like, oh, I got to know. But my realtor, he said, well, but remember what your mom just told you. Keep going. So
your agent wrote and presented 30 different offers.
Exactly.
To this, and there were just no yeses out there. Nobody seemed to be interested.
Yeah, no, because apparently I was too young for the sellers to trust me. They said, yeah, okay, but like, tell me more about the
Yeah.
people that is trying to buy my property. And my realtor, he would tell, oh yeah, she's a working professional. She does this, she does that.
Well, even that question
Yeah,
lets you know they're not highly motivated.
exactly.
If they ask you, who is the buyer? She's too young, whatever. They obviously don't want to sell it. I'm looking
Exactly.
for a highly motivated seller who doesn't care who you are. It doesn't care anything about you. They just want to get rid of it. Of course, that's within reason. You know, obviously they don't want to sell it to a criminal, but
Not a criminal.
Okay,
so
good.
no.
All right, so
not a criminal here.
30. Congratulations.
Thank you. And it's interesting because you always teach us throughout all your podcasts and social media that millionaires are made during crisis. And that's exactly what happened. So you know how we had the pandemic, COVID going on in 2020. And that was the perfect timing because I still kept putting my offers. I got a couple more yeses those times. But I got the one yes that truly changed my life. And it was this family. I looked for a highly motivated seller, actually. Yeah. It was this family that they were thinking, no, COVID is in Utah. So I purchased my property in Utah. But this family was, no, COVID is in Utah. We're moving to Arizona because there's no COVID in Arizona. We need to get out of this property ASAP.
Oh.
So my realtor, he knew this information. And he talked to me. He said, hey, you know what? I just found you a really good deal. This family, they want to get out of the house. Let's go check it out. So we ended up looking at the property. And as you always teach us, look for properties that are in good shape and that have personal problems.
Yes.
So that was a personal problem.
Yeah, exactly.
And
it was fear-based, wasn't it?
Exactly.
They were afraid. They just want to get out. The price wasn't as really all that important to them. They want to just get to another state.
They really wanted to. And in fact, that made them be more flexible to all the negotiations that we had to do with them. Also, one of the things that you always mention is to like inspect the property and make sure that the property fits like what we're looking for.
Yes.
So, because something as easy as the furnace could be like $10,000.
Yeah.
And that's already a big chunk of money that you have to drop into your property.
Exactly.
So,
I always recommend you just get a property inspection company for $400 or $500. They'll just rip that property apart. And they'll figure out any bad thing they can possibly find. And they give you a report on it. And sometimes you take that report back to the seller and say, it's going to require $4,900 worth of fixing in order for me to be able to buy it. And you get to deduct that. On the last property I bought, it deducted $30,000 off the price of the property that I bought just recently. So, you know, that's why you get this property inspection reports.
Especially because that inspector knows what they are doing. They know exactly what to look for. And they even are so, like if you get a really good inspector, they are as cool as taking a video or a picture and sending it to you so you can also view it yourself. Like I didn't even know what the attic was going to look like until I saw the inspection. The inspector was so thorough that even though it was covered in a lot of foam, he went with one of these micro cameras.
Oh, nice.
And he just did like a deep dive on all of the attic. So in order to show me that the roof was like in good shape and everything. So if you get a really good inspector, that's a really good investment. It only costed me like a couple $100. But he gave me a full report before I even invested in the house.
So what other areas of flexibility did they have? Price is the main area, I think.
Yeah.
Besides that, what other things?
So after getting the report actually from the inspector, and it's really cool that you mentioned that it's good to have an inspection, like a professional inspection on the house, because you can use that as leverage. My realtor, I can tell that he learned from you because he knew that, and he mentioned, oh, well, look at this. Like, actually, the furnace, it's a little bit old. We could find like some way of negotiating this and say, hey, you know what? I may have to replace the furnace later on. Why don't you drop like $10,000 on the price or something like that? So we ended up negotiating on a couple of aspects, such as like some of the vents that we had for the furnace. And also the age of the furnace itself. So that was one of our negotiation points. Another one was the age of the house. Also some of the piping and and little like faucets and things like that were a little outdated and not working as proper. So that was also another point of negotiation that we had. Even something as little as the lights. We said, well, the lights are not LED bulbs, so that means that my cost of energy or electricity per month is going to be more. So if we could negotiate like changing those up, so that way like I can truly feel confident on buying it. Literally, these sellers, they were so flexible to the point of dropping around 25 to 30K on the full price of the house. So
was there a listed price that was publicly listed for them when it got listed to sell? What was that price?
So that price was supposed to be 250 something, almost 260K.
260,000.
Almost.
What was your eventual purchase price?
Before the closing costs and everything, it was around 220K.
220.
So, from 200 and almost 60K.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. So see how negotiation is just, if you're negotiating with the right kind of seller, these things are easy to do. Exactly. If you're negotiating from the wrong kind of seller, which is a retail oriented seller, they're going to say things like, no, you pay the closing costs. No, you fix up you buy it as is. You know, that's the way it goes.
Exactly. So I think I only paid like 80% of the closing costs because they were so motivated to sell that they said, you know what, we're going to replace all the bulbs. We're going to replace all the piping, all the like little faucets. We're gonna also like drop the price a little so you can like replace the furnace, and we're paying the closing costs at least 80%. That's how motivated.
Yeah.
So that's the key.
And I just want, when you hear Marjorie's story here, a lot of you are going to say, yeah, but that's Utah, you know, or that wouldn't happen in my city.
Oh no.
Well, if you'd done what Marjorie did, she wrote 30 offers.
Exactly.
And she got a lot of no's. And most people aren't willing to do that. They'll write 4 or 5 offers and they'll say something like, well, this doesn't work. Robert Allen's system doesn't work. Well, Robert Allen says you keep writing offers until you find the highly motivated seller. And then the negotiation is so much easier. Now, this was during COVID when there was lots of fear. Essentially, we're moving into the same kind of arena when as the interest rates are gone up. Because of COVID is the reason the interest rates are being raised, because of the inflation, because of COVID. The government spent $4 trillion of our money, and therefore they made every future dollar less valuable. Therefore, that's inflation. Therefore, as we move into this new kind of a bad time, not from the COVID time, but from the recession time, there's going to be deals like Marjorie just explained to you. Marjorie, you had a house that just sold right next to the home you bought just last week.
Literally,
so tell me, what did that house sell for?
So funny thing, like these, so the property that I have, my very first property, that one in that same neighborhood, we had the same construction company coming over and doing like multiple houses, kind of like cookie cutter kind of houses. They all look the same on the outside, though the square footage of the houses is different based on the inspections that I got from my inspector. And these houses smaller than the property that I own. And these property got sold for almost 580K. Though the true value of that house, and I still remember because it was one of the houses that I wrote an offer for and they gave me a no, the true price for that house was 210K at the time. But now it literally got sold to an investor for 580K. And even the basement is not even finished.
In other words, the property that just sold, very close to your home, sold for more than twice what you paid just a few months ago, really, 22 years ago?
Yeah, just a couple years ago. Yeah.
Okay, so Marjorie, I love this story because it just illustrates everything I teach. You have to be persistent and the no's don't bother you. You keep going until you find a highly motivated seller. Then you negotiate the best deal. If she bought 4 properties at the same time, not just one, she'd be a millionaire today. But she made $250,000 on this one single property because she bought at the right time, finding the right seller, negotiating the right deal. And anyone who's listening to this right now is a handful of properties away from $1 million.
That's true.
No more than 10 properties away from being a millionaire. It's just being willing to research and to look and to study and to, Marjorie, you're just a perfect example of what I'm teaching. If everyone just did what you did.
Well, I did have the best mentor because literally my realtor, he learned from you. So I got to learn your knowledge way, way, way long time ago. And that's truly what motivated me to go in the market. So for everyone that is listening to this podcast, have faith and go and look in the market. It doesn't matter what the time is. If you have the right strategy and if you have the right tools in your tool case, you can find the best deals ever. And it's truly possible as long as you have a creative mindset and you're looking for that flexibility. Doesn't matter what the time is.
Marjorie, that was fun. I love that story. Because you know why? Because when they hear me, they go, well, Robert, you've been around for 40 years and you've done this before. And you can do it, Robert, but me, I couldn't do this. And then to have your story.
I literally had no credit, to be honest. When I started looking at all of these houses, I had zero credit because my mom, so I'm Latina. So my mom, she's Latina and she always told me, do not get a credit card ever because credit is the worst thing ever. So that's the first thing she told me. So I never had credit. But when I started looking at houses, all of these properties, they required, oh, yes, we need to know the credit score and this and that. So my realtor, he was wise enough and he said, okay, so you get a credit card and start paying your monthly phone payments on that credit card and all the monthly regular expenses that you know that are a set amount, pay them on that credit card and pay it off immediately. So that's going to build your credit. I literally had only 3 months to build my credit. And when I closed my, on my property, my first property, it literally my credit was good enough to fit on the traditional way of buying that most realtors are looking for. So even if you say, I don't have the credit, Bob, you know what? You have so many years of experience. You have so many properties. Your credit is awesome. I can't do it. Well, even if you don't have the credit, you can build it in 3 months. Even if you don't have the economic resources, you can find someone that has them. Yeah. You can always find the resources that you need.
We need to take your seminar.
No, we need to take a seminar from you. That's what we need to do.
Thank you, Marjorie. That was wonderful.
Thank you so much, Bob. And then again, thank you to our audience. So there you have it. If you truly want to become a real estate investor, if you truly want to change your life, your future, and build a legacy for your loved ones, make sure that you invest into real estate using the creative tools that Bob Allen is teaching us today. Thank you so much.